Hey everyone, how's it going today? My name is Lamoura, and welcome back to yet another episode of Final Fantasy XIV. I have some really good news, guys. We have finally broken the point where we have 39 quests left until we finish the base of Realm Reborn story. We are in the end game, and I'm so excited to say that. Let's just get into it, because I can't wait. At 39 quests, that's probably like at most 15 more episodes. So we're going to jump right into the next part of the story, which means that we need to go into the next dungeon, the Stone Vigil, because we've cleared up the treason accusations that were around here, the false, what is it, the Church of Sea or something like that? I don't remember exactly all the terminology, but we killed the emissary, or the Inquisitor, from the last episode. Now we need to talk to Alphino. In pursuit of the past, Alphino is eager to enter the Stone Vigil. As I'm sure you will agree, it is past time we enter the Stone Vigil. Pay Lord Drillmont a visit and remind him of his obligation to us. Sid and I will follow Anon. Drillmont was in here. Sorry, it's been a few days since I've played last, so I just need to get used to it. I was going to spend a bit of time doing stuff like my hunting log and some of the challenges that I have here, just to make sure that I get all the XP that I could, because I haven't really been doing them too much in the last week, but it's, as you can probably see, it's 9 p.m. right now, and it's a weekday. The problem that I'm having is that most people, if I don't go fast, most people might be going to bed, and it might be harder for me to find a crew to jump into this dungeon with. We owe you all a great debt of gratitude. Had it not been for you, the heretic masquerading as Inquisitor Guilliman, that's his name, Inquisitor Guilliman, would still be among us, free to prey upon the innocents. I see now that I was a fool to dismiss your claims out of hand, but you must understand, it seemed too much to hope that the scions of the Seventh Dawn still lived, to say nothing of Master Garland. Never have I been happier to be proven wrong. Well, it is gratifying to know that someone has derived a measure of enjoyment from your error. Now, that was sassy. Jesus. Now, if you have no further objections, we would appreciate if you would permit us to enter the Stone Vigil and retrieve our airship. Yes, of course. It is the least I can do, given all that you have done for us. But entering the outpost is the least of your concerns, I fear. You speak of the Dravians that now hold the ruin. In part, yes. I should explain. Shortly after you first arrived, I had my men scour the old records. They confirmed that an abandoned airship had been seized by the soldiers garrisoned at the Stone Vigil in the days following the calamity. As far as we have been able to ascertain, it was still in their custody when the outpost was overrun by the dragons. Whether it was damaged or destroyed during the battle, I cannot say, nor can I give you any assurance that it has not been removed in the intervening years. For far too long, the ruin has served as a Dravanian foothold in Corthius, from which they have struck out at us with depressing regularity. Though we have pushed them back behind the walls, we have yet been unable to drive them out, and I cannot say when the situation will change. Or how it will change. Forgive me, Lord Drillmont, but there is no guarantee that you will prevail. In any event, we have not the time to wait. We will secure our property without Ishgardian aid. I see. Well, that may be for the best. I will inform Sir Nathalane of your impending visit. May Halon guide you, scions. Okay, cool. So now we have access to the Stone Vigil. It will be our next dungeon to go into, and preemptively I've just switched over to my Scholar class because that's what we'll need to do. We shouldn't have any fights that we need to worry about in our time going there. If we just look at the map, the Stone Vigil is this way. I'm sorry. For some reason I thought it was over here, but that's an adjoining area into the next part of the game. Alright, so we'll just follow this path. Like I said, there will be no fights that we need to worry about, so I don't need to go into my battle class or anything like that. We'll just deal with it. Now, I can't remember. No, ice sprites were on the last part of our hunting log. Okay. Sometimes you just forget, you know? Sometimes you just forget. This one little dragonfly might be the only problem, but if he doesn't turn around, we could probably skirt right behind him. Granted, I am 7 levels above him, so he shouldn't aggro. Alright, Nathalin, whatever your name is. Hail, Nia. Lord Drillmont has appraised me of the situation. You may enter the Stone Vigil whenever you will. Whensoever you will. Is that what it said? Anyways, so we need to find a party that will go into the Stone Vigil. Now, one thing I will mention is, depending on when you're watching this, there is this little Moogle icon right here next to the Stone Vigil. It's the first one that we've seen, and as we go further in, we'll unlock more of them, depending on the time frame. Essentially what this is an event that's going on right now, the Moogle Treasure Hunter, Treasure Trove, or something like that. It's going to be going on until patch 5.3 comes out. If you collect all of these little irregular tombstones of law, you can turn them in at any of the major city-states for a bunch of different prizes. Mounts, companions, glamour outfits, MGP, you know, a bunch of different stuff. So depending on the mission that you do, as I said before, you can unlock more of them. You can get more than just 3. Some offer 5, some offer 7, some offer 10. So you need like 50 for the mounts, 100 for one of the glamour pieces. Everything else is like 30. Some of them are 7. So you need a whole bunch of different ones. Yeah, so that's what that little thing means. Other than that, outside the event, it doesn't appear ever again. Anyways, I'm going to queue into this dungeon. It should pop pretty quickly, but I'll see you when we get in. Okay, so we're here. Let's make sure that we get our Selene. Sorry, I was just typing into the party here so that everyone is aware of where we're at. Cool. Alright. Cool. We'll get an Adoloquium on him. Hopefully everyone kind of knows what we're doing here, and we should have some fun. We're not going to start this just yet. I think he's typing in chat, so I kind of just wasted that Adoloquium because it only lasts for 15 seconds more, but that's okay. So the Stone Vigil is full of dragons, as we've seen. There's one mini-boss in this dungeon, and then, no, 2 mini-bosses, and then the main boss. So we'll have to manage that as we go through. I wouldn't say this is particularly hard. It can be a little bit of a challenge if you don't know what you're doing, but for the most part, I wouldn't call this hard. But again, I've run this dungeon a lot, so that also may be part of it. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell, you know. The hardest part for me is getting used to the Scholar and what skills I have and which ones I don't. Speaking of, okay, so I'm level synced down, so I won't have my some of my abilities here. I was looking for the energy drain here, but I won't get that. Now, one thing you'll have to worry about here is there is a dragon that comes down every once in a while, and will burn the party. It's not for much damage, but it is something that you just need to be aware of that's going to happen. I don't like to run forward into it if I don't need to. I just don't really see the point, per se. So if you know it's coming, it's kind of cool just to avoid that kind of stuff. Is he going inside? He's going inside. Alright, there's really no point in doing any of this. We can just go this way and continue down the halls. I think everyone here is a little bit new. I think they tried to match us up with a party that is similar to our level. So that means because I've run this dungeon a few times, I will make sure that I do my best to inform you guys and also them of what we need to do for this dungeon. Because it can be a little confusing here if you're not prepared for what comes out of it. Alright, so he's going to pull them a little bit further inside. This room is where we want to go next in here. As you can see, there are some patrolling dragons around, and that's kind of a main mechanic that's here in this dungeon. You have to avoid or engage with these patrolling dragons, because they could either mess up your party, or they could, you know, just be a piece of cake like this. But let's say we were to pull all of these different mobs, and this dragon was to come in and just randomly start attacking, like me as the healer. It can be kind of like a death sentence for your party if the tank doesn't grab it immediately. So that is something that we need to be aware of. So now that these guys are dead, you can see there's another one coming in. We're going to pull the larger group here. I'm going to get an Adaloquium on our tank once again, just so he's kind of chilling and he's not taking more damage than is really necessary here. Make sure we get our dots as well, and then we'll start going back and doing our damage here. Now let's make sure our tank is staying pretty healed up. I'm going to hit him with a regen as well, even though we already have Celine doing a good amount. I always see it, if you have your moves, use them as early as possible so that they come off cooldown a lot faster as well. No use, if they're just sitting there doing nothing, then it's just wasted healing. It's just wasted potential that you could have. So he's going to avoid this. We're going to hopefully pull that guy. You don't need to worry about anyone in there. I think there might be a treasure coffer if I'm not mistaken, but again, most people have out-leveled as far as their gear goes and don't really need it. Once again, I'm going to hit him with an Adaloquium. We're coming up to another little fight here, and if I'm not mistaken, right around the corner... Oh, he didn't pull everyone. Right around the corner, there will be another random dragon spawn where he'll come down and breathe fire. Most parties run right into it. It's not that big of a damaged thing here, but it is something just to be aware of as we go through. I will quickly get rid of that. He's doing okay on his health right now. I'm not too concerned, just because there's only one enemy left here. He'll naturally heal outside of the battle much faster. Okay, cool. So I'm going to actually stand a little bit further out, just because this dragon's going to come through, and it's going to burn the whole party. And I just don't feel like getting hit by it, but it's okay. I can use Succor here and kind of give the party a little bit of heals and shields as well. And for me personally, and I know this is different for everybody else, I just like knowing what I'm getting into with a dungeon. I don't want to go in and be surprised by a bunch of different mechanics and things that I'm not expecting. It just makes me really nervous, and that's... me being nervous is literally just like a fast track for me fumbling up and messing things up. Okay, so this mini boss right here is interesting in the way that he's fairly easy. Like, he has no real tricks to him except for one major thing you have to be aware of. So at one point in this fight, the boss will just run off to the corner of the arena, and you need to stand behind him. That is kind of like the most imperative part to him, because he'll do this giant breath attack that will pretty much wipe the entire party. So here we go. Make sure you're behind him. If you're standing anywhere in front of him when he does that, you're just asking for a very, very bad time. And that's really all there is to this boss. Okay, so our guy got hit by that. I don't really know what happened there, but it is okay. Oops, no, I'm hitting the wrong button. So thankfully we have Celine there, because I wasn't paying attention, and I don't know how he got hurt as bad as he did. But it's okay. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to hit everyone with a Succor, just so that we're all fine. Just in case any kind of faux pas or flubs happen again. So he's going to run off again. I'm going to sprint this time. Get behind him. Did our tank make it? Not really, but it's okay. I'm going to hit him with an Asuna, get rid of all of his status buffs, and another Adaloquium as well. And it's as easy as that. And now we just burn the boss. We should be able to kill him fast enough where he shouldn't do it again, but just in case he does, just be, again, aware of kind of the skills that he has. I always like to take off the burns status there so that we don't have to do nearly as much healing. But our team was able to manage that fairly well. We have a Disciple of War thing. I'm not going to take it. I'll leave it for some of the others. And we'll just move on. Okay. I think there's another group coming down here. And if I'm not mistaken, we turn off to the right. The dragon will come once again in this area. So I'm going to get a sucker on him. Or, I'm sorry, an Adoloquium. And we'll probably use Sucker once we get down to here just to help our team out a little bit more. Oops, nope, not Adoloquium. We'll use that, help our team out just a tad bit. And we'll take care of these guys. Nice and easy. It's nice and easy. See, I'm not panicking, I'm not worried. Our team's doing great. Managing. I know what I'm doing and what to expect, when to expect it. Now, the hardest thing that we'll have to manage, I guess you could call it, is in the next area. When we get towards... Okay, so he's just going to pull one at a time, huh? Okay, that's fine. If he feels nervous doing too many at once, I'm okay with that. I would much rather take it slow than someone rushing headlong in and not, you know, being able to manage it. So, I would prefer someone who manages things like this. And the good thing is, he has me. So he shouldn't have to worry nearly as much if he doesn't want to. So we'll make sure that he's all nice and happy and healed up. And we'll kill everything as we get along. Alright. See, the nice thing is we're burning these guys pretty fast, which I like to see. Everyone's kind of going down. That means everyone's gear is up to date, which is a huge thing that I started to realize is that when tanks are getting burned down too much, when DPS or enemies aren't dying nearly as fast, it's because people haven't updated their gear. And so that's always one thing I always recommend is make sure your gear is up to date. Hit the market boards every once in a while. Don't rely on just the quest rewards to kit you out. It's going to be a bad time if you just rely on that one thing. So I highly recommend hit the market boards, buy from the marketplace, not the marketplace. What would you call it? The merchants in town. They give you fairly decent gear up to level 50. I think it's actually 49. So you don't have to spend all your gil on the market board just for updated gear. You can, if you want, just buy from the merchants. They give you some good gear. Okay, so we learned Rescue. That's literally, it's an interesting one. We'll go over that in a bit. I'm not going to talk about a new skill here in a dungeon. It's one we'll rarely ever use, to be honest with you. I guess we could. There are very few situations where we could use it. I'm just going to hit him with an Adoloquium real quick. Essentially, Rescue, it draws in whoever you're targeting to you. So it's like a tether or like a grapple hook almost. So as a healer, I think they're the only class that gets that type of skill. So if you see like a tank or DPS standing in an AoE and they're just not paying attention, clearly they're going to get hit by it, you can rescue them out of it. It's, again, not something that is used often unless someone is painfully new. I don't know, like I see it as a rude thing to pull someone out of their rotation and their positionals, but that may just be me. So as you saw there, unfortunately there are some roaming Ziz carriers over there that we need to worry about, and if you stand a little too far away from the middle, they can spot you, and they'll target whoever is standing there. So it is often best to stand over in this area over here, or off to the side, so that you don't get spotted. But everyone was good, paying attention to what needed to. The DPS, what class are you? If you're the Gunbreaker, the Gunbreaker ran over to the tank so that he or she could pull aggro, which is exactly what you want to do. Exactly the way you want to do it. Alright, so let's just get our dot effects on everyone. Looks like this carrier Ziz is going down pretty fast here. I'm going to get another Adoloquium down here. Everyone's focusing on this one. And we'll get the Outflyer after. It looks like our Gunbreaker's getting the Outflyer. Okay. It doesn't really matter. Everyone's getting burned down relatively quickly. And now we have our second mini-boss here. This one is interesting. Yeah, so someone marked it. This is telling the tank to pull the boss over here. What you don't want... Yeah. So you want to pull the boss off to the side, because what's essentially going to... I did that way too early. That was my fault. Because what's going to happen here... I think the Gunbreaker is going to do it. The boss is going to do some like AoE attacks and stuff like that. And one of the mechanics of this fight is that at certain points there's another dragon that comes flying down, and you need to shoot it with one of these cannons. Okay, so the Gunbreaker is going to take care of it. So yeah, you need to activate one of these Bertha cannons, otherwise these AoEs will continue just to happen here. So I'm going to hit everyone with a sucker, so that we can get a little bit of that. So the Gunbreaker is going to take care of it. At one point, this dragon will put down some of these tornadoes. And these tornadoes can hurt you quite a lot. So I'm going to hit him with an Adaloquium and heal him up there. So now he should be able to get to the... I'll get the Bertha Cannon. Get to the Bertha Cannons even if he stands in the tornadoes. Okay, I got hit by that, so I want to cure myself. I want to cure everybody. We're going to hit a sucker here, and we're going to get a regen out for everyone as well. Just make sure that everyone is as good as they can be. We just have to be careful here that it doesn't happen again. So just in case, he's going to put down a third tornado. And once again, make sure I get everything right here. I'm going to get you an Adaloquium so that you don't die when you stand in the tornado. There you go. Have fun, friend. And it's as easy as that. You just want to make sure that you get this dragon down, because it constantly will shoot out AoEs and damage your party. I mean, AoEs, that's obvious what they do. Alright, so let's just get those. I will greed that. I will pass on that. And hopefully we'll get that robe. Cool. Because that's a pretty good robe, and now that I have glamours, I don't need to worry about looking ugly. Okay, where's our tank? Hold on, let's make sure that we get Celine back before we go too much further. Otherwise, my healing will suffer. I've always seemed to forget Celine in that area, and the only reason why I place her there is mostly because taking care of those cannons, you have to stand a little bit outside of the range of the tank. Because sometimes they'll pull it right towards the door and face it away from the cannons, and that's just too far of a range for Celine to get them. Okay, so there's a wandering dragon that, if we didn't finish that fight fast enough, would have added itself into it, which would have been annoying. So we're getting to the end of that. I'm going to hit him with an Adaloquium, because we're coming up to yet another quick little fight here. You have a bunch of these sprites. Now, I missed it, but they do just appear randomly as you kind of walk up to this area. They're not just standing here for you to see. So, again, if your party's not paying attention and your tank just like runs off, it can be pretty bad. Especially if, like, as a healer, you're staying back and you get caught up in that. Oh wow, this one didn't die? Wow, I was expecting it to. Okay. And we will hit him with another Adaloquium for the next fight. Now that dragon just went inside. Okay, so he's going to pull it. I wasn't sure if it was going to make its way out, because we could have probably let it chill with no problems, but it's okay. Why does he want to focus on that one so much? Like, what's the difference? You know, I think that was a misclick on his part. It's okay. All right, we'll just heal up the Gunbreaker real quick so that Celine can work on the tank. All right, cool. So now we can continue on. I'm going to focus on the tank as soon as we get around this corner. There we go. Hopefully this tank fits it, because I forgot about those guys, to be honest with you. I completely forgot about them. But it's okay. Once again, let's hit him with an Adaloquium. He's getting a little low on health, and then I'll hit him with a physics or psychics or whatever it's actually called. Cool and cool. These guys will finish him up relatively fast, and this ice sprite right here will be the next one to go down. Awesome. Alright, let's just make sure he's healed, even though Celine's doing her job. Is there another fight here? There is. So we'll hit him with another Adaloquium. And just because of where we are at, I'm just going to hit him myself with a Lucid Dreaming, get some of our MP back so we're not suffering in the next fight. Start off fresh is the way I see it. Did I get everything here? Yeah, okay. Just want to be sure the roll wasn't being held up by me. Oh, they're focusing on this guy. I mean, half and half. They're just kind of all over the place right now. Alright, cool and cool. Alright, so we're already at the final boss here, which is awesome to see. Look, it's the Enterprise. Yes, just beyond that enormous sleeping dragon. The dragon is not our concern. We have come for the airship and only the airship. Sid, you and I will sneak aboard the Enterprise and prepare for launch. Nia, you stay here and keep an eye on the beast. If it wakes, we may need you to provide a distraction until we are ready to depart. You can manage that, can't you? That settles it then. Shall we, Sid? As you command. So, you mean to slay Garuda next? Interesting. Most interesting. And you are aware that her strength greatly exceeds that of your previous primal conquests? A testament to the fanatical devotion of her followers. The Ixal are nothing if not zealous. In spite of your past achievements, I labor to believe that you will best this foe. Yet only a fool would underestimate the great bringer of light, slayer of Ifrit, bane of Titan. If any mortal is capable of defeating the Lady of the Vortex, it is you. Win or lose, the battle should at least make for an entertaining spectacle, assuming, of course, you live that long. Alfino, the dragon! Confound it all! Let us see how well your blasphemous gifts serve you this time, Crystal Bearer. So at random points, this boss will throw down some random ice circles that will damage over time, and they'll stay on the field for a long time. You need to just get out of those, avoid them. Another thing, a mechanic that he'll do is he'll just, at one point, for this boss, cast Sucker when the boss is casting. Yep. So yeah. So essentially what's going to happen is that the boss is going to fly up into the air at one point, and he's going to do these random, what would you call them? Area of effect attacks. Like he'll swoop down and like make lines and kind of quarantine off a certain area of the arena, I guess is the best way to put it. So what will happen is, hold on, let's place her over here. Make sure she's getting the, okay. So what you'll see here is now he's flying up, right? And he's going to put down an area effect. You want to get out of that. That will pretty much insta-wipe the entire party if you're not careful. So we want to stand in the middle and avoid that. Oops, okay, so the dragon came down here, huh? Okay. I forget, it was the one. So you want to avoid that, and you'll start to see as he starts putting down these ice circles, you will Come on. Oh yeah, that's right. Wrong button. And then I'm going to do that. As he starts putting down these ice circles, you don't want them to be in the center, because that's where you want to stand in order to not get in the attack. So right there, now we have one less place to stand as a group when he starts doing his AoE spots. Why are you standing in there? Please don't stand in that. Thank you. Right, there we go. We're gonna hit everyone with a sucker. Make sure the whole party's healed up and got shields on there. I need to watch my MP as well, just so that we don't run out too much. I might take it easy on the attacks for just a second, but I think we should be okay. Alright, so we're going to hit the whole party with another sucker. Alright, so he's going to fly up. This time he's going to put some more ice circles down, I think, before he swoops down. So you just, again, don't want those to be in the center, because that's where we need to stand, but the whole party's just going to do that anyway. So he's going to do it there, which is fine. I'll get Celine back on me so I don't forget her. I think this time he does two. So again, just want to stand outside. It's always easier, once again, to stand in the center. And I think from here, he drops down onto the tank, wherever the tank is standing. Alright, cool and cool. Once again, we just want to stand up, because I believe he once again does the same thing, where he'll cast now some of these more ice circles all around on random enemies, or teammates, I should call them. And so if we don't burn this boss fast enough, he'll do another swooping thing. It's not hard, you know, it's just kind of part of the mechanics here. So I'm going to get a Whispering Dawn on everyone who's kind of over there, and then we'll get a sucker. I'm sure I could do it earlier, I just sometimes don't pay attention to that stuff. Like, I do realize that is my own. So he's going to do Sheet of Ice, which is... okay, that's fine. You don't need to do Sucker. Sometimes that's my bad. I should be looking down here a little bit more. So we've done a limit break, and the boss should go down right now. Beautiful. Okay, so there it is. That's the Stone Vigil. Nice and easy if you know what you're doing. I've done this dungeon, like I've said, plenty of times, so to me, it's second nature in a way. That's what I was using to... ooh, an Astrologian. I kind of want it. Part of me... I'm going to read it, because part of me wants to try the Astrologian at one point. It's another healing class, and I just seem to like healing. It's something that always just kind of resonates with me. Nia, are you alright? Speak to me. Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be text. 12 be praised. I feared the beast had injured you. I see now why the others rated you so highly. When you were caught in the midst of the etheric bubble with the dragon, I was all but certain my next mission would be to find a new champion. Thank the gods for sparing me that inconvenience. I have quite enough to do already. Which reminds me, Sid is working on the Enterprise as we speak. Let us go and see what he has to say. What say you, Sid? Will she fly? Yes, though it will not be a pleasant ride. Well, I dare say it will be no more unpleasant than staying here. 'Tis a pity that the Enterprise is not in a better state, but if she will allow us to quit this place, I shall not complain. If we are all in agreement, let us return to Gridania. Though I would like nothing more than to set course for the Howling Eye, it is plain the Enterprise is in no condition to weather the storm. She must needs be repaired if we are to proceed with our mission. This is all so familiar. I know this airship. If I could just... Bah, it's no use. Let's go. Okay, so, shoot, I just realized I made a mistake. I paused when I was trying to queue into the dungeon, and I forgot to restart my timer. So I don't actually know how long we've been recording for. Crud. Okay, anyways, let's just finish off this quest. We'll deal with that later. How I have longed for the more agreeable climate of the Twelveswood. Yet I will not deny the Holy See had its charms. Endless detours aside, our Ishgardian jaunt proved quite an adventure. Alas, our work is far from done. We still have an airship to repair and a primal to slay. No rest for the heroic, eh? In Pursuit of the Past is now complete. We also gained a level, so now we're 48. We're on our way to level 50, even before the main quest ends. So I'm really happy about that. So then there's the Into the Eye of the Storm, huh? Alright. You know, guys, I hate to do this. I really do. But I guess we've done it a few times before. I'm going to end this episode a bit early here. And in comparison to some of the other episodes, it may be very early. Because, again, I don't have a timer going. So I don't know how long it actually took us to go through the Stone Vigil. But I do know there's like 6 minutes of cutscene in that entire dungeon. And I think... I started around, so that probably took us about 30 minutes, so we're probably around 30-something minutes, 36 or somewhere around there. Either way, it doesn't matter. I want to thank you all for joining. Again, I do apologize that it is a little bit short of an episode. Hopefully next one will continue on and make sure that they are, the proper 40-minute length. Other than that, I'll see you all later. Peace out, and much love to you.